A busy morning for traffic investigators. Two crashes sent several people to the hospital. The first crash at 52nd and Ames around 12:30. You see that car there. A Chevy Impala had been T-boned and another car ended up on the median. That's that vehicle you see right here. Two people were taken to the hospital with critical injuries. A third person had non-critical injuries.
Crash number 2 around the same time, a car versus a motorcycle at 24th and Cumming. Motorcycle was in the middle of the street. Two people were taken to the hospital with injuries described as serious. No word at this hour, though, what led up to either of those wrecks.